I'm Shiko,
I'm Yam.
And I'm Gavani.
and this is Okay
Okay.
Bam, bam,
Curiosity.
Curiosity.
bam, bam, bam,
Ooh,
bam. Ooh, yeah,
Whoa,
we
hey.
break it
here.
down.
We
Mm,
Ew,
back. Let's go.
uh.
Season 3 is here.
let's go.
Yeah.
Hey,
Gavani.
Gathoni is
guys,
going for
guys,
a
I've been
Grammy.
inspired by Tina. You know, Tina Turner started her career in her 40s. So if I start practicing now,
I know that's right. You got it.
I
You're even
swear,
ahead.
I swear.
You
also
are
because I
ahead.
only also because the men are young nowadays in my life, I'm like, she also had a 16, her husband was 16 years younger, so
It's your
listen,
time.
R.I.P. Queen of
RIP,
Rock and Roll.
R.I.P.
Hey, it
yeah,
is.
Jay.
It is going. Gathoni, have you been? What's been going on
Myself,
in your life this week?
my life has been good. I'm busy with work. Not really, actually. I am actually busy. This week, I met with Egyptian podcasters, which was exciting. I believe in my heart. I've been trying to get into North Africa. Let me tell you, in my heart, I believe that I shall find a way to unite these African countries. I don't know how.
Amen.
Okay, I'ma be the Martha. Oh no, that's the wrong person.
No.
Wangari
Mother.
Maathai. I was like,
If
Martha
you're
is in the
Wangari
streets now.
Maathai, everybody else, they are the trees. And
Yeah,
you
you
know.
know how this is what it is. I'm Wangari Maathai, and the podcasting world is Uhuru Park. Okay?
Aha.
In the
And you're
same way we
naked
have
in
Uhuru
Uhuru Park.
Park,
I love it.
I'm gonna tie myself naked to the trees to make sure
Love it.
this thing works. I'm like, I don't know how, but I'm gonna do it.
Wow.
I have a dream. Okay? Hashtag Martin Luther. Anyway, yeah, it was exciting. It was fun. And then my friend had a ratio. Ah, my
Whoa.
BFF.
Please,
Our
Nyambura,
number one fan.
our vocabulary princess, what is a ratio?
Okay, thank you for that question. Arorasio is a Kikuyu traditional function that happens before the wedding. It's basically the dowry exchange ceremony. Um, that ends my knowledge without Google. Thank you.
I
Siri
actually
said,
love
I
rurashios. I
have
almost
your
feel like
response.
rurashios are more fun than the actual wedding, to be very
They're so
honest.
great. And let
For
Yeah.
me tell
everyone
you, my
except
babe
us,
was
babe.
looking fire.
Yeah, you're
Oh yeah,
right.
because we're
You're
normally,
right.
so that's the thing. So the first time, it was our first time not having to be in the room. Like we were not in the room. So we're just
Yeah,
like,
so
oh,
what
this is what
happened?
happens. Like people
Wow.
introduce themselves, and then like the MC talks. I can't explain to
Even
you. It
starting
was
from
just
the
like,
singing at the gate,
yeah, we
actually.
were singing at the gate. Oh my god,
Yeah.
that was so fun. Where it's like they ask each other, like the groom's family comes and they're like, "Hi, please let us in." And it's like, "Nah, we ain't going to." Like it was so much fun being a part of that. And then we sang for them so many times, but it was so much fun. I'm like, oh,
Because you're
and let me
right.
tell
The
you,
girls are
she
usually
looked
just
bomb.
over there in the room chilling. Honestly, like if we were smart, every time we've been in that room, we should have just brought bottles. Like, what are we doing just sitting there looking at walls?
Then you
But
have to
also,
walk
do you
out
want to be
hidden in
drunk
a
when you're in
lesso
a
and
lesso?
like falling.
Yeah,
And
they
you're
don't know who you are.
man, no, you would know for sure. Because let me tell you how we'd be laughing. Just being like,
Wait, I'm just
because
waiting for
I'm
a
just
friend of
in
mine
the
to
room.
get married. Let me tell you, everyone will have a flask inside their lesso. It's going to be lit.
It's okay. Let me tell you what I'll do. I'll have a ratio for you for that
Thank
flask.
you,
I'll
please.
find a guy
Please.
just for the ratio. We're not getting married, but we'll have a ratio.
We
Don't
just have a
worry.
ratio, please.
You
Thank
just
you.
want a lit ratio. I got you. Don't worry.
Plan a
I'll
ratio, we'll
find a
take
man.
his money and then cancel the wedding.
No, we
Hey,
don't
wait.
take his money. Actually,
Yeah.
we can. Diabetic daddies. I'll find one. Don't worry. I'm tired. I've paid so many bills. Let me tell you guys, I paid medical this week. Okay, here's the thing about medical. I'm about to go on a rant. Okay.
Insurance.
Yes, medical insurance. Here's the thing. Okay. I'm ranting. Because why is it? It takes 12 months for me who has paid for maternity. I'm not getting pregnant. Don't worry. But like it takes 12 months for it to be valid, right? So that means if you even aspire, or think that you might want to have a baby in the foreseeable future, you have to pay for it to mature in the time. And here's the thing, I was like, okay, it might mature. let's say I want to pay
What is the baby
200,000, for
maturing,
example.
or is
No, for the
your
insurance to be able to be claimed. For the insurance to be claimed, not the baby. Shiko, why is a baby maturing?
So
What's wrong with
honestly,
you?
is the
I was
baby
like, so
reaching
technically,
adolescence?
because me,
The
here's my thought
insurance
process, Gadani.
to mature.
If it's 12 months maturing, all you have to do if you're planning to have a baby is to just like wait 2 months to get pregnant, so that you can have a mature baby by the time your
Girl,
insurance
I
is
don't
mature.
want to get pregnant. That's the thing. But in case I decide in 4 years to get pregnant, I'm paying for an imaginary baby.
It's
Wow.
What a
okay.
waste of my life. No, because
Actually,
that
now our
money,
prayers are shifting. Woo!
Amen.
May the
12
seed
there's
month
find her.
maternity baby. So find it.
Yeah.
Amen. Yes.
yuck. Me and my uterus are really sneering at the two of you because
We're trying to
we
be
are going to do
tatas.
this. We're going be tatters with someone else's uterus because me and my uterus have done.
Yuck.
Noted.
Anyway, Nyam, how are you? Kwenda huko with your uterus.
Myself, I'm okay. I'm good. I had a good week. Um, I have a busy week coming up, and it's a short week. But I'm excited also about having a busy week. I had some good meetings last week. I met someone that we went to uni together, and we were just catching up on life. We realized we hadn't actually hung out in almost 15 years, 14 years, 15 years. But yeah,
You've been out of
it
uni
was a
that
good
long.
time. Kalani,
Damn.
please. You guys always just age me every episode. But yes, I have.
No, every time I'm shocked because I'm just like, if you have, that means -2 for
You're
me.
right
That's why I'm just
behind.
like, oh
Yeah,
no, actually, no,
technically.
uni, I was out for
So
a bit.
actually,
You were
no,
just
I
messing
we
around with
haven't.
school.
Yeah.
Yeah, 14 years basically. Um,
Wow.
but yeah, other than that, I've had a good week. I had a good gymming week as well. I'm really on fire.
Nyam, that's your
I
life
did
these
my
days.
first. Yeah, imagine I'm just a gym babe and I love it so much.
Yeah.
I did my first box jumps this week. And I'm
Woo!
so excited. I was so excited. It took me so long. Like I was just having visions of me scraping my shins, falling over the box, just like worst case scenarios. But yeah, I managed and I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty stoked about it. So I've had a good week.
And your niece?
My knees are still okay. I think because I overdanced for my birthday, they're like, we have seen the worst. The battle is over.
But her knees nowadays are doing so well. She has knees like Megan. Let me tell you, 40-year-old
Yeah.
Nyam will be twerking for us. You know those babes who are doing that? What was that TikTok where you go down and you just like do that wind when you're on your knees at the bottom? That will be Nyam.
So we were actually
I
talking about
promise.
it with a friend of mine. At this time last year, I felt like I was going to break up with the gym guys because of how badly my knees were in pain. But I think number one, they've strengthened over time, but we've also been with my coach like a bit more sensitive to like high impact workouts or doing them a little at a time, so even if I'm doing shuttle runs, I'm not doing them consistently for a long period of time, or instead of double unders, I do single unders. And now I'm getting CrossFit technical.
Hey, I like how
Um,
you're double under, single unders. For the people in the back, some are too
yeah, knee
skipping. I mean,
skipping.
seriously.
Skipping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, I'm
That's
pretty
fun.
excited. I love seeing my progress. So
Even
I'm
us, we
I'm
love seeing it. You've become a TikTok babe for the gym.
yeah, actually, my whole TikTok is just gym content. It didn't start out that way, but now I'm like, I think that's my persona on TikTok.
What's your
Yeah.
TikTok
Yeah.
handle for the people in the back?
My handle is Iprenyam.
So good. And what else have you done that was fun this week?
Kathleen is like, you did something with me and you didn't see it.
Oh no, the Rora show with her twin. First
Oh,
that
no,
Raven
no, no, the
shouted it out. I know she.
play.
Yeah, like the play.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. I literally just came from the play. Oh my god. It's so it's so it was so good. So our good friend Mugambi had a one-man play called Every Brilliant Thing, that brings awareness on mental health issues and things pertaining to suicide. And it was so heartwarming and beautiful. There were moments of laughter and just like reflection. And he's just like, you know, watching your friends use their gifts to impact the world is also just like such a wonderful thing. He's so gifted. He's so, I mean, he's incredible. But then also like seeing people respond in such an open way was so amazing. And then I'm like, that means that this conversation can go further, and any step forward in awareness and sensitivity to mental health, I think, is a win. So it was, yeah, best use of my Sunday afternoon for sure. um Hey, I can't believe I almost forgot. I was also saving it, hoping that we fall on my wall, because then Muga should have been on my wall. But let me just put it out there now. He's an excellent, whatever. If you ever see Mugash is attached to anything, you just pour your money. Just throw it at him. Actually, I said it's guaranteed. Yeah.
Wow. That's fun. That's fun.
Now where
So
she
fun,
Now
go?
let me
Chico,
tell
you
you. My
Tell
week
us.
wow. She said,
was
drum roll, please. We are ready.
no, this was my last week of school. We're officially on summer break. Me, I'm on summer break forever because I'm not going
Me,
back to
me,
that
me,
hole.
me.
Yeah.
So you
So
Kienda
keep them
I
kids.
kanani.
Keep
Hey,
them kids.
oh yeah, my
let me tell you,
TikTok.
that TikTok
Oh
is
my
so
god.
fire.
I
If they're
had
not
so
following you
much
on
fun
TikTok,
making
first
it.
give your handle now, because your TikTok is so magnificent.
Thank you. Thank you. I've been feeling like that's my creative outlet these days. So I've been quite
Drop the handle.
consistent on TikTok. How about Chico? Which is all my handles these days. My YouTube changed to How About Chico, my Instagram, everything. I'm embracing my name, guys. Hello? Look at that.
Yes,
Look at
embrace.
that. Yeah.
That
Um
makes one of us.
so it was my last it was my last week at work. I thought it was going to be emotional or whatever it is, but like honestly it wasn't at all. I was so ready. That's how you know. I was like, it is time to be out of here. Yeah. But more excitingly this week, today is actually, as we record this, my anniversary, my 6 year
Ow.
anniversary.
Can't believe
Um
it. Pew, 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 pew,
I
pew, pew,
know it's been
pew.
Six,
wild.
not
Yes,
6 years.
it's so
Six
crazy.
years. It's
Hey,
wild. Yeah. So how me and my husband do it, we go back and forth with who's going to be planning our anniversary events. We go back and forth year by year.
shenanigans.
So last year was me, this year was him. So it started Friday. What we ended up doing was he had booked this like scavenger hunt around the city, but for restaurants. So we went to like
Oh, so
four or
fun.
five different places. And what happens is you tell them that you're there for the scavenger hunt and they'll give you your meal. So you don't even know what they had prepared for you. Obviously, when you're booking it, you can put in your like dietary restrictions or whatever it is so they know what they're giving. But yeah, so we went from place to place. Each time we stopped while we were waiting for our food, we had a drink, and then we went like it's designed to where other than the first stop, it's all walkable, so it's easy to just like walk around the same area. So yeah, we went, we gathered all our food, and then we ended up at the park. And we had a picnic with all these different things. We had like Swiss rolls and a charcuterie board, and whew,
Mashakura board.
god damn it,
Maria has
Corona.
struck.
Corona.
Damn, girl.
Oh,
Why? And she's just wagging her
Maria,
tail.
Maria.
Corona.
Yeah.
Damn. this girl,
She
when she
reminds me of a
farts,
West Side
and she's so
Story.
excited. She's like, "What happened? What happened, ma? Are you think this girl?" She's like, "What happened,
She's really
Maria?"
like, you like
She
that? You like that,
said,
Mama?
"Kula yo."
Evil. Wait. Yeah. So we had Swiss rolls, we had our charcuterie board, we had fries and a club sandwich, we had like a salad with feta and almonds and like guacamole and like a bunch of stuff. What else? It was like a lot of food. We had to take over we had to take home leftovers. So then we go back home, we rest and shower, and he says to get ready for dinner and to wear something like sundressy. So I put on a sundress, and then we go to the botanical gardens, and they have different displays depending on the theme of the year. So we walk around the botanical gardens, and it's also cocktail hour or happy hour, whatever it is. So you can grab a drink and walk through the displays and the flowers, and they had live jazz playing. It was so beautiful. And then we had dinner at the park. No, at the botanical gardens. They have a restaurant there, and that's where we had dinner. And then after dinner, we went for this show. It's they call it candlelit concerts or something like that. So it's like a quartet, a four-string quartet, plays music. They usually theme it, so it's usually one artist. Galan, you're gonna die. The artist was Coldplay. So all
Live.
the music they were
I'm
playing
still
was
mad at you
Coldplay
guys, by the
music.
way. First, I'm triggered because y'all bitches didn't let me go and see my Coldplay. I was ready to light my flashlight, but fine, she could go
Oh
off.
my gosh. I have to send you guys the video and show you or put it on social media when we release this episode,
You
because
have to
when I
put it
tell
on
you it
social
was
media.
so pretty, like I cried. I cried. And he bought us the best seats. So we were in the front row, and it was like thousands of candles and this string quartet in like this, it was in a chapel, like an old school chapel. So like the acoustics were incredible. And when I tell you, like when they're playing Fix You, I'm just out here like tears
Weeping, even just
stream
thinking,
down your
down your
face.
face. I'd be crying.
Literally. Literally, I was dying. But yeah, we did that and then went home. Then yesterday, Atlanta usually has like an Atlanta jazz festival this weekend. So we went to the park with some of our friends yesterday, and like just made sandwiches and brought drinks and just listened to free jazz in the park. It was amazing. It was amazing. Yeah. So it's been a good weekend.
Hey, that
It's been
our
a good
brother-in-law
weekend.
is
He showed off.
gets the thumbs up, man.
He showed off.
Double
That's why
thumbs
he's
up.
our favorite podcast guest. Wow. You're a guy.
No
Or a
if and
fella.
buts about it.
No. Anyone coming, just know if we say you're our favorite, we're lying to you. We have a favorite. You are number two at best.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was great. Anyway, Yam, you have the wheel for us?
Wheel it. Like a record spin, 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 spin me,
Are
yeah.
you
Oh.
ready, bitch?
Spin,
She
spin,
didn't even say
spin
Spin.
me,
spinach. She
yeah.
said
Oh.
will it.
She
Yeah.
said, "Will it?"
Spin, 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 spin me, yeah.
Whoa! It said
Actually,
no
can we go
snow
for an
for
Elaine
you.
concert together?
Please,
Because
yes.
I'm down. She's
Yes,
even still
I'm
making
ready.
music. What's the other one who was
We've
Big
been signed.
Cecile?
Maybe she'll go to Vegas. Yeah. And there might be a Vegas version for them.
I
Dancehall
doubt
Vegas.
it.
They should have that though. It would be a really like a lot of money where you just go and watch an Elaine concert every day. Hey, everyone would be going to their hood. It would be like
Sorry.
this
We had
summer.
a technical hitch. It seems like the sound has just decided it ain't for us today,
Okay.
but it's spinning and spinning and spinning. And
Spilly-loobly, pilly-loolu. What's
Dun,
the what?
dun, dun,
Billy,
dun,
jubilee,
dun, dun,
jubilee, billy,
dun,
billy,
dun. And we have on repeat. What are
Whoa.
what are you listening to?
Okay, I
Wow.
already know. Let me tell you.
Okay,
For the
go.
last maybe month, I've been driving to music, and when I drive to work in the mornings, I usually put on like something that will be uplifting. So whether it's a podcast or whether it's like gospel music or whatever it is, but the song that's been on repeat, like literally every single time I enter my car, I just want to play it, is Kingdom by Maverick City Music and
And
Kirk
Kaka
Mm-hmm.
Franklin.
Francesca.
Mm,
Yes. That song has been on my heart. I don't know why. So heavy this season.
yeah,
But it's such a powerful song too.
it
If
really
you guys
is.
haven't listened to it, Kingdom, Maverick City Music, and Kirk Franklin.
Kaka
Love it.
Francesca. So
Yeah.
Now, Ewe
good.
Gadosh.
Myself, unfortunately, in as much as Kirk Franklin was my top artist of last year, he's
Was
not
he
been my
really?
vibe. Of course. Hey, let me tell you how I
Wow.
played that album. Maverick and
Yeah.
I Lil played it. Spotify said,
Yeah.
have your guy. So, my current favorite song is called Favorite Song. It's but the remix. So it's by a guy called I think Tusi. I don't know how you pronounce his name. Anyway, it has
Yeah.
Khalid. It has Khalid. The remix has Khalid, and it's just such a vibey song. So because me, I like bass things because my car does. That song is so yummy.
Yenye, you
But
drive
it's
a
the
matatu type.
farthest. Amen. We thank the Lord. We praise the Lord for what I have in my car. But yeah, that song is it's like vibey.
Tusi and Khaled.
Yeah,
Favorite
but it's the
song.
farthest away from Shiko's version of music that she just said.
I know. When I had
It's
Tusi,
of
I
the
was like, first of all,
streets.
Gadoni, you know that person. Because
I
Over
only
that's
got to
real
there, I have
hardcore.
no clue.
That's
let's be
hardcore hip
honest.
hop.
Let's be honest. I got to him because of Khalid. Otherwise, our
Okay.
paths would never have crossed.
Even me, I was
Let's be
shocked. I
honest.
was like, wow, what a
When I tell you I
revelation.
don't know another one of his songs, not even one. I
Yeah.
haven't. Yeah. Maybe I'll check him this week.
You won't like
Lies.
him. Just spare yourself the nini.
UCG
Thank you.
West.
UCG
UCG
Yeah.
waste.
West.
Don't waste your
He's a
time.
hip hop guy. Yeah.
He's a hip hop guy.
Thank you. He's not my guy. Yum.
So, incidentally, the song that I've had on replay also is a Kirk Franklin song, but it's a recently released one called All Things.
Okay.
Actually, this weekend, I think he was performing it somewhere, and he does like, like a gyrating thing. I've seen like the church is up
Oh
in
yeah,
arms
yeah, yeah.
when he's performing it, but I think it's such a
Is the church
nice
not tired
song. And the church,
of
forget the
being
church.
tired of
Wait.
Kirk Franklin?
First of
I
all,
mean,
did
like
you
they
see
quote him every
the
day.
pastor who was whatever out here grinding with his wife at his birthday?
Yes,
No,
love
I didn't
it.
see.
It was
Even
Rick
me.
Haddon.
Was
And
it?
again, even that, yeah. And
Uh
even
huh.
that people were like, but that's
Wait.
his wife. Me, I get
I
so bored with
know.
But see, they got
Christians.
mad
I'm
at the
like,
guy
how are
from
they
Maverick
having
City at
children?
his after party when he
What
was
did he
grinding
do?
with his wife, and they were like, "It's not Christian," and it was their after party for the wedding.
Leave
I'm
them
just like,
alone.
at what point is sex a topic for the church, guys? Anyway, never mind. I was
Let them
getting
just
triggered.
have
I've kept
children.
quiet.
According to the church, you have
Let them
children
have
in private
children.
just by
Kwani, you look
holding
at it,
hands
it's
in prayer.
osmosis. It's when we're having
Yeah.
Bible study that my
Yeah,
eggs
that's
get
it.
fertilized.
We
Yeah,
can't we
I
can't
mean,
talk about
wow.
it until you get married. When you're getting married, we'll tell you all the rubbish nonsense about it, and then we don't
And
want
if
to
you
see
try
it
and gyrate
anymore.
on your husband, we will hate you
Ni
for
kama
it.
hata hawajui foreplay ni nini. I mean, really. Jesus. Anyway.
Anyway.
Yeah, so I guess all things is one, and then the other one is Your Power, which is a Lecrae song with Tasha Cobbs. What's her new Leonard? Tasha Cobbs Leonard.
Oh, she got
Yeah,
married.
she got married, but maybe like 2 years
Oh,
ago. It's not like recently, but yeah, that's another song that I've had on replay. And I think also because when I'm driving, like Shiko, I like to listen to some good, uplifting gospel.
for
Actually,
sure.
not
I thought you
yeah,
would say sing because you've really overplayed that song also.
yeah. I mean, I guess, but
What
I've
song is that?
overplayed it in your car. There's a song. It's it's called Sing. It's
Terrell Grace,
by
I think.
Terrell Grace. I feel
From
like it's
Season 6
a
album.
I feel like it's a what do they call them? Hymn spirituals. Like those Black American type songs, like lift every voice adjacent. Um, but yeah, he had it as one of the openings of his new season that's on YouTube. So I don't remember the name of the girl who sings on it, but me, I really like a song that transposes. It just touches my heart every time there's a key change. I feel like my spirit is lifting with every
Jesus
key
is upon you.
change,
Hallelujah.
and like the tears are close, like the
For
you know
sure. Music,
so
and the
it
thing
also
about
has
it
one
is
of
like
those.
music is not made like that anymore. Like I feel like
Man,
um
yeah.
it's funny, like what's his name? The Jonas brother, Nick Jonas.
Nick
When I
Jonas.
listen to his music, I get that vibe too. Like where
Yeah,
every key change and everything, you're like, oh, everything is so thought out.
yeah.
But they don't do it like that anymore.
Yeah,
It's
nowadays
very
songs are like
rare.
2 minutes, 30 seconds. I'm like, I'm just starting to figure out if I like you and you are finished. I want a song that's 7 minutes long, where I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
it's three songs in one. I've had a journey. Cut it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
So,
Hiya, so today we're going into periods. We are going to be talking about the menstrual cycles. It is something half the population goes through, so we believe it's important to discuss. But Nyam, why don't you tell us how you put your outfit together and what's in your cup?
okay, so today I am wearing a red bodycon dress. It's what I wore to the show, but it is to celebrate. We should mention today is also Menstrual Hygiene Day, World Menstrual Hygiene Day. So yeah,
Mhm.
so I wore a red bodycon dress and I got a red wine.
What's your why not
Red,
choice?
red
So I'm actually
wine.
having a Cab Sav. It's a Californian wine. It was a gift for my birthday from a friend. It's called, I want to say the Loft or the Soft. I'll confirm by the end of by the end of this intro. But yeah, that's what I'm having a red Cab Sav.
Perfect. Gadani, what's going in your cup stays in your cup.
Myself, I'm
You
wearing
didn't sing
a
for me.
pink. In your cup stays in your cup. Your
My
drink is
drink
in
is
your cup.
in your cup,
In
stays
your
in
cup
your
stays in your cup.
cup.
Love it.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Myself, I'm wearing a Rich Auntie Dera. It's pink because I'm on Rich Auntie tip, but it's pink for the days that we like the most, the end of the period, when you can send that you up text. When you send that
That's
WYD, what you doing?
Lord bless this girl.
oh my goodness.
Anyway, in my cup is, I don't know if you can see, but it's pink. Again, in theme for team spotting, team late days, team the end is
It's like
nigh.
she thinks because we spot it comes out a different color.
I can't
It's
see.
normally, it becomes, listen, those days where it just does like that. That's the day that's the day. Don't worry about the color. It's the thought that counts, okay, guys? Anyway,
Okay.
my cup has a pink drink. It's on brand. It's potato juice. I just put a splash of Ribena to be in theme because we are not drinking anything other than potato juice. Praise God. Amen.
Uh-huh. Gotcha.
Wanjiko, tell us about
Yes.
yourself.
Me myself, I am wearing the earrings. The earrings are the red color. They represent the red blood. Thank you. Um
They're also shaped round like a cervix, nini, uterus.
Oh my god. Why could you even have just called them ovaries?
she said round like
No,
a
no,
cervix.
I know.
not
I'm
the
like,
cervix,
which
the uterus.
cervix?
See, like how it holds. See, it
But
normally
that's
looks
not
like
even
this.
round.
Ah, guys, the shape is the shape. It's the thought that counts. Triangle, circle. What is it? A triangle
Whoa.
with curved edges.
Oh Lord. A
Anyway,
triangle
she
with
go
curved.
go off.
Whew. Okay. In my cup is what I like to call a sangria.
Or sankola.
I had a little bit of wine. It was a Pinot Noir. I quite honestly don't know what it's called, but my husband gets it for me every time he goes to the liquor store. So that's the wine. It's Pinot Noir. Then I honestly just didn't feel like putting anything else but Coke. So I'm drinking wine and Coke.
I'm drinking wine and
And
coke.
cook.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So that's my
but
sangria of the day.
you have to
Special
stop calling
recipe, wine and Coke.
it.
Yeah, I said what
Well,
I said, bitch.
I mean, it's your anniversary, so I'ma let it slide.
If it was any other day.
Yeah.
Any other day, and I will put you in your place.
Sour. Cheers, babes.
Cheers.
We hope
Eyes,
you
eyes.
enjoy the episode, guys. Eyes. Look at us in our
Eyes.
eyes. Hiya. Enjoy.
Enjoy the episode.
Okay, so today we are discussing periods, and that's on period, and
Or
that's
as
on
That's on
Regina would
per.
per.
say, period.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm excited about this
Have
episode
we
because we
explained
have
who
a
Regina
guest.
is?
Reg is our
Huh?
queen mother.
Regina is Queen Mother. She says period.
Yeah,
Period.
period.
Regina
Um,
runs our lives.
She is, by the way, the only reason we exist as humans.
The
she
only reason
really
my
is.
mother functions also.
Bruh, she's the only
Right.
reason. And you know, all of us are just, there's a fight for whose child will be the one who, the first child gets Regina, the first grandchild. So
Anyway, Regina is my mom's house help.
she's our house
Mm.
manager. She runs our lives and the household. Yeah.
You guys tell me, how did you first learn about period? About a
About?
period?
I feel like the first time I learned, I'm not sure, I think, I can't remember how I learned about it. I remember the guys for a brand, because they're not paying us, I will not mention their name, used to come to schools. They used to come schools, and they used to teach babes, like girls, they'd call us to the hall and be like, this is what happens. And they'd pour a blue liquid onto a pad and be like, this is how you put it on the underwear. And then they'd be like, who wants to volunteer to put it on the underwear? I feel like that was my first induction into
Oh my
it.
gosh, you're lying. I
No,
don't know
for
why that
real.
just
Like, you just
grossed
be
me
babes.
out.
You just
No,
be babes in
putting the
the thing.
pad, not the liquid.
Uh,
I just knew.
They'd put the liquid on the pads also. No, wait. They'd put the liquid, but the blue liquid, like the one for ads, to show
I
the
know,
difference
okay,
but
between,
okay,
Shiko
okay,
thought
okay,
that
okay.
they're asking you to volunteer to put the blue liquid. That's what's
Ashiko,
making her.
stop it immediately.
Anyway,
How did your brain even?
I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, so then I think it's because that time they had distinctive, they used to have packaging that was blue and then pink. And the pink one was like day and then blue was like night. But I feel like at that point in time, also pads were like thick. They were like the slice, like as thick as four slices of bread, you know? And,
Damn.
yeah.
and they
What a
didn't have wings.
comparison.
Yeah, and they
Let me
didn't
tell
have
you, at
wings.
least now they're even folded. Do you know? Anyway, maybe I'm showing my
Yeah, they
age.
used
I
to be
came up in the
flat.
But
time when it was like
also,
with no wings, just a long like
Yeah, wings was a thing
oh
that
way.
came
my
up in our
gosh.
times, our life and times.
Anyway,
Hey,
That's
okay.
wings
wild.
is like technology. Girl, we
Uh-uh.
had wingless pads.
Mm,
But yeah, I feel like that was my first introduction to it, probably.
okay. How about you, Shiko?
Um, I can't even recall like the first time I had an interaction to it. I think for me it's different because I was the youngest, and by the time I was experiencing my period, or like like I had so much exposure to that kind of stuff. like because of you guys and seeing you guys go through it, or say, oh, I'm on my period, we need to buy pads or whatever, like just little things. So I knew about it, even the shows that I was watching, you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
Akina
Mm.
Taira and
Oh, Tyra talk show. She was your
Taira talk
Oprah.
show. It was my Oprah, exactly. So I learned
Mm,
about everything there.
Mm.
So by the time it was coming to me, like experiencing it or whatever, it wasn't a
mm.
foreign concept.
Okay. Yeah, I think for me,
And
I
Yum.
also.
I was in the generation of we already had wings. Sorry.
It's okay.
Wow, bitch.
That's
How
It
does
fine.
it
was a
feel to be a
thing.
youth? Hey, us guys did not have that. It came in our.
Yeah.
It's just that other one. They call themselves number one brand of our
Oh,
country, but
I'm going to nini myself,
Yeah.
mute
mute.
myself.
Bleep.
Yeah, they ain't
Yeah.
paying us. No mentioning
They
names.
ain't paying us.
Yeah. So I think even for me it was that school visit, and they would, after, you know what was so weird is, after they would give us the talk, they'd give each of us one pad to leave with, or to go back with. And I always remember like the teachers being like, make sure the boys don't see, but I'm like, it's so obvious if all the girls were in the hall, like, anyway.
They already
But
And
have
their
it
that's,
giant
planned.
yeah.
truck with all of their like name on the thing. Everyone knows why we were in the hall.
Yeah, anyway, and maybe we'll talk about this later, but I think that's like the beginnings of that weirdness of how boys must not see certain things, or when, as it relates to period. So that's what I remember hearing about it, and I think mom also had a conversation with me, but I think I was now coming closer to like 11. um in passing too, it wasn't like super serious or whatever, but it was just like, yeah, you become what do you know about it? And I think because I knew some of it from the perspective of the sellers of the products, it made it easier for her. So I don't know that it was linked to like womanhood or whatever. It was just like puberty, like you grow armpit hairs, and you also, those are the things they used to tell us. So yeah, do you guys remember having a conversation with the mom or the folks about it?
My conversation with
No.
mom was the day it started. Because I
Same.
remember when,
Okay,
because I remember the
so
day
let's
my
talk
period
about that.
started.
Let's talk about your first time. Gather me, tell us.
Yeah, so I remember the day my period started. I was at home. Thank God I was on holiday because I cannot imagine the trauma of having a stained skirt or uniform. Because my God, children are cruel. But I remember where we lived, there was a coin box, and I went and I called mom in her office. Extension. I can't remember her extension, but anyway, I called her and I was like, Mom, I think my period has started. She was like, What's happening? How are you feeling? Okay. Um, if you go to Nyam has, I think you, of course, the advantage, I think, of being a second child is you have someone who's gone before you. So it was, she appeared, like she left her office, she came with like a bag with 75,000 pads, and she's like, this is how you use them, this is what happens, this is how soon you should change them, this is blah, 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 blah. And I got like a class, but I guess because that kind of learned from the people in the school, it wasn't that dramatic. It's just now I had stock of like the stuff, but it wasn't, I think it wasn't as scary for me because there was the one that went before me, my John the Baptist, the firstborn.
Yeah, I'm the
Yeah.
It wasn't as
Baptist.
crazy. Yeah. So maybe you're the one who we should ask how your experience, because I mean, even she was mentioned it was easier for her because of us. What was your
Yeah.
experience like with no one before you?
First, before I go, how old were you, Gadani?
That is a good question. 11? Question mark. I think I was in class 6,
Okay.
so probably 11, 10, 11. The thing is, my birthday is in December, so I don't know. 10 or
What I'm
11.
trying to understand is this pre-separation or post?
Post. It was post
Okay.
separation.
It has to have been because
It
she
was
was so, so
post.
Yeah.
small.
It was post separation, and I went to the coin box to call mom in an emergency
Okay.
situation. She
Okay.
brought me 4 packets of pads. I don't know, but I remember that so
The call
distinctively.
box throwback.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a reverse call and I knew her extension. It's like, hi, who would you like to take? Hi, could I please speak to extension? We had to say extensions.
So you know what's so crazy is I don't really think I remember my first time. Um, I I what I remember, like, I can't tell you where I was, but I remember being like, I don't know if it's my period that has started because it just felt like pink, just like light. It wasn't like, when you're being told about a period and they're like it's blood. I was anticipating, how you fall, you scrape your knee and there's like red blood. But I think my first time was just like so light that I was more concerned that I have a sickness, not a period, you know um I don't know that people, those are some of the things that I think people don't tell you about, like periods can look different, or like you have a heavy day, you have a light day, as part of your whatever. So I remember being a bit concerned that maybe something else had happened, not my period starting. um but my period came when I was 12, and that was also like, I feel like that time of my life is just slightly erased from my mind. Like 12 to 13, just there is just like a blur. But I do remember one time I stained
That's
my
right before
dress.
separation, right?
That's like in the thick of things, yeah. I
Mm.
remember staining my uniform once. Um, and having to wash it. And okay, so I went to Hospital Hill, and it was at the time that I was in the school that uniform changed. We used to have another uniform that you used to look like a newspaper, or people used to say look
I
like a
remember.
newspaper
Yeah, yeah,
address. And
yeah.
then now they changed it
It
to
only
the
used
new
to be on
uniform.
tablecloths in town. There was nowhere else.
Yeah,
It was like
That
a
yeah,
mattered.
gray. Eh.
yeah. It was
It
like
had
white with
zigzags. It had people swimming. It was the wildest thing. Anyway,
yeah, it was a good uniform though. It was unique. So then they changed it for us to wear skirts, and like a gray skirt and a white
Oh, that's the
blouse.
one I'm remembering.
the
Yeah,
checkered skirt.
so
Yeah, the checkered skirt.
yeah, the checkered skirt also had like some maroon in it, and I remember being somewhat grateful that it happened on that uniform as opposed to the other one, which was also quite light. But yeah, it was weird having to. I went to the bathroom and I remember washing it down. I don't remember anyone seeing it.
We used to turn our
Um,
skirts.
I ti- I didn't turn my skirt, but now I tied my sweater around my waist.
Mm.
And then went to
That's
the
what I did.
washroom and then cleaned it, and then yeah. But what else? And Shiko, your first time was?
Oh, my first time was it was on a Sunday morning. We were actually getting ready to go to church. So I had gone to the bathroom, I was cleaning myself, blah blah blah. I was feeling a little bit of pain in my stomach now to know that that was cramps or whatever it was. And I was 12. I think it was 2007. I want to say August 19th or 16th.
Not the date.
That it was a Sunday. You guys check me. I don't know. It's either 16th or 19th
Let me check.
of
I think which year?
August
2007.
2007.
Okay.
7. And I just knew it was a period. You know what I mean? Like, so I put on my underwear getting ready after coming out of the shower, and I had a couple of drops of blood, and I was like,
19th
ugh. It was
is the
19th.
yeah.
Wow.
On the
Crazy
leash
that I
touch.
remember some such
That's
details.
wild.
I know. So when I was like, okay, I remember sitting on the toilet having to psych myself up to tell mom. I think I was a little bit more nervous about that than having my period, because I was like, I know what a pad is, I know how to put it on, I know how to blah blah blah. But um I was sitting there like, Okay, so what am I gonna say? So I just walked into the room and I showed her my underwear. I was like, "Mom," and she,
Wow.
I
What a show
think,
and tell.
You're so dramatic. You said, I walk out of the
Damn.
toilet with my underwear at my ankles,
Come
not
on.
the duck walk.
Oh my
Hey,
um,
god.
Shorty.
so I showed her my underwear and I didn't say anything. And she was like, are you whatever? She just I was asking me questions just to make sure like I didn't hurt myself. Maybe I was trying to shave or whatever it is, just to make sure like I'm fine. And then I was like, no, it's my period. And she was
Yes,
like,
walk
oh,
queen.
okay. Exactly. So she was like, oh, okay. So then we went to the bathroom. She was so sweet. She gave me some pads. She showed me how to put it on my underwear. Then she gave me a couple extras. She told me to put on a biker under the outfits that I wanted to wear because I think I was wearing like a dress or something to church. So she told me just in case, just put a biker so that there's an extra layer in case anything happens. And I remember we had to go to a home group after that. So after church, there was like a meeting at someone's house, and we were gonna do lunch there and everything. So she knew it would be a long time since till we go back to the house. So she had brought me extras and everything. And at the party, she made sure to check on me. She was like, "Hey, you probably want to change it. Here's one. You can tuck it in like this." It was always that hiding thing, just like in Yam's
Mm.
experience,
Gotta hide it in your
Um,
bikers.
Exactly. So then I went to the bathroom, and my first time was like literally just a couple of drops that day. And then the next day I had like a couple sprinkles or whatever it is. And then it disappeared. The
Mm.
second time was the traumatic time for me.
Tell us more,
Really?
please.
Yeah.
Release your
And
trauma.
you guys were on that trip too. So, this was like, so this happened in August, my first period. And then in, was it November? No, no, it was December. It was December. We had taken a trip to Naivasha. Me, you,
Fam. I
Vava,
remember that
I know
trip.
the
you
trip.
remember, and our
Post
Yeah,
cousins.
election.
yeah,
It
yeah.
was just
Post
before
elections. It was
elections
just
or
before post
post
election
election
violence. So
Post-election.
when guys
It
finished
violence.
was
voting, we went to Naivasha.
exactly,
Mm,
exactly. Yeah,
mm.
it was that heavy. Me, I wasn't thinking about all those things at that age.
Bruh, you aren't thinking to be young is so
Eh,
great.
anyway, it is also okay to be overwhelmed with your period only. Forget election. In any case, we didn't know
Mm-hmm.
the outcome of the elections would be that dramatic at that time, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
think
also
we
the
had gone
madness
right
only started.
after, like we had passed it, or like we
hmm,
escaped it.
hmm.
Yeah, the madness started just after we'd left. So like we even had time to stop in Limuru to eat lunch before we got home, and then the madness began properly the next day.
So what happened is when it started when we were in what is it? Where was it that you guys used to Ngong? Yes, it
Yeah, that
started when we
part
were in
over there.
Ngong.
Hmm.
So when we were in Gong, and I asked Gadoni for a pad, and I was like, she was like, oh yeah, yeah, here, very casually, like not thinking about anything. We were packing, and she just gave me one, and I went and changed it. We were packing to go to Naivasha. So what ended up happening is she was like, do you want me to put some extras in my bag so that you can have some on the trip? And I was like, yes, please. And it was already like I had felt so courageous about asking you for a pad. So for you to offer, I was like, whatever. But then she was
Oh,
like, how many? And I was like, I think maybe just two. Because the first time I had had my period,
oh
It was
we
no.
didn't.
Kidogo.
Exactly, exactly. So I put on the pad she offered me there. We drove all the way to Naivasha. And then we were at that, just like what was it
Whatever.
called? I don't
Fisherman's
even know
maybe.
what
I
it
don't know. It
is.
crayfish one of these
Yeah,
days.
but we had the cabins. We had the
Hmm.
cabins.
Hmm. I remember.
So I remember, but our bathrooms, I think we had to share, or the showers
Outside.
and the
They were
bathrooms
outside.
we had to share outside. Yeah.
Mm.
So I remember walking there, and there was not much electricity at night, just like a light in the corner or whatever it is. and I look at my pad and I'm like, dang, that thing is full. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I need to change it. So I change it and then I go to bed and I'm hoping I don't leak because I'm like like already overflowing. So I put on a new one. I go into we sleep and everything. We wake up the next morning, we're leaving to Lemuru. But we had stopped for lunch before we even reached Limuru at some place in
Mm-hmm.
Naivasha.
Naivasha, I
We were
remember.
playing pool and we were eating. I think we
That's
had
the place
stopped
we
for
cleared the
breakfast.
table. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We stopped for breakfast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So all this time I'm like, guys, I just need to go home. Like, why are we? Because I only have one more pad, and I'm like, I just need to go home. I just need to go home. Like, hey, why is this so dramatic?
Also, how you know I was so
Because
young
it
is that
is.
I just agreed to pack as many as you said. I was just like, you
Yeah,
need more than
I
one.
know.
I'm like, now I'd have been like two, three packets of pads.
Oh my gosh.
Wild. Uh-huh. And then
Yeah. So after that we keep going, then we go to Brackenhurst and we're out here playing outside and everything. At this point I already have the new pad on and everything, and I'm just kind of like so uncomfortable, and I feel dirty too because I don't think we had showered when we were in Naivasha. We just went, and I think we had heard of post-election violence and we were trying to get home or
we
something
tried
like
the night
that.
before. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I already feel so dirty after all these stops and everything. And this is my first experience having like a real period. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So then I remember we went to the bathrooms in Brackenhurst and they weren't flushing. And we were all like, oh, yeah, we just need to pee, blah, blah, blah. I made sure to go last because I was like, this place is about to be red.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
I
Oh,
know.
yeah.
I know.
That's
Anyway, we
wild.
finally made it home, and I was like,
Fuchs.
it had taken
Relief.
even longer than I think we. It took us way longer to get home than usual because
I
we
think we
had
had to use a
been in.
different route. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because we'd started hearing about
Exactly.
the drama. Mm.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, that is traumatic. So, now, I mean, we've all then had our period for quite a while. What's your relationship been to your period? Or, like, has that changed? Like, are you less traumatized? And, how has it changed in terms of the ups and downs? Like, give us your view on periods, your journey, your period journey. Gadani, tell us.
Myself, if I could remove my uterus, put it in a closet until I decided I want children, it would be my preferred method. Um, because I find periods exhausting. Like I don't understand why every and the thing is, from the start I've had a 21-day thing. Do you know how often 21 days is, guys? Let's just take a moment to think. It's every 3 weeks. Do you know how annoying it is? For I have done this from the time I was 11. I'm 35 now. I don't have time for this. Okay. And then what's happened is like my cramps just got worse. Like my cramps are dramatic. Nowadays, I'll be waking up in the middle of the night just being like, I need to bend over. I have to get out of bed, bent over. Like if I'm not taking painkillers, when you feel like the painkiller is starting to go down, if I don't take another one, then it's wild. And then now discovering in my 30s, do you not have discovered that you can have cramps in your legs? Did you know you can have cramps in your legs? Why does no one tell you this shit? I'm just like, my uterus is
Oh,
hurting. What
so
do my
your
legs have
cramps
to do
have
with it?
gotten worse with age and
Yeah,
you're
so my cramps
feeling
have
them in
gotten
new
worse
places.
in new
Okay.
places. So it used to be like I wasn't cramping. Then now it was my stomach. Then it was like, a bit of the back. And then now it's like, it feels like my legs are, when you run and you feel like a pulsing in your legs. That's what it feels like sometimes. And I'm just like, it's just my uterus. Guys, if I could put this thing in a fridge, the same way people extract eggs. You extract eggs, and then when you're ready to be a mother, you take your egg and make it an embryo or whatever the hell the science is there. If I could do the same thing with my
And put
uterus.
back your uterus.
Yeah, just like put it in a closet so that I don't have to deal with periods or whatever it is. Then I'm like, I think I want to be a mom now. Let's readjust it, put it back in, then be like, grow the child. Okay, I'm done growing the child. Pick the child, put them on a slab, put the uterus, not the child, on a slab.
I was like, what? This
So
is getting
confused.
progressively dark.
I was so confused. I
No,
was
the
like, Gazani,
uterus.
what
I'm
is
like,
going on?
after
It
I've given
reminded
birth
me
the
of Jane the
child.
Virgin.
No, after I've given birth, I put the uterus back on a slab and I keep my child, so that then I'm not dealing with it again. I just feel like it's a lot of work. I feel like it's nuisance, especially because I feel like the patriarchy around is like when we were growing up, we had to hide pads. It's like there's such secrecy around something that's happening to me every 21 days. I don't have the brain capacity to be worried about you every 21 days. Like even in the office, I remember there's a time I stained as an adult. I was in a very important meeting. I know that feeling when you're just like, ah, shit, it's on my jeans. And it's not like when we were young where you could just scrub your little skirt and turn it and wear, like, tie your sweater around the waist. That day I felt cute. You know how hard it is first to feel cute on your period? I felt cute. Then I went for this meeting. So my top was not necessarily long. I went for this meeting, and the second I sat down, I was just like, my period is leaking. I can feel it. It's not even that you're not wearing a pad, it's that it has chosen to go beyond the pad. It's like the pad ends here, the period is coming here. And it's just like, but this is where you should work with me.
Can you talk about how common that is?
It's
And that
very
no one talks
common.
Yeah.
about it.
And
I'm just
nobody
like
talks
that. We were
about it.
Yeah.
It's that staining
Yeah.
was a thing for when I'm young. I shouldn't be staining in my 30s, but here I am in an important meeting in a boardroom. And then after I have to walk out, there's four men in this meeting. We're two ladies. I don't know this lady. It's not like I can be like, babe, what's up? Am I okay? How does it look? Then who puts white chairs in boardrooms? Fuck you, also. Because now I'm having to pretend after the meeting to still be on a call to be like, I'll catch up with you to try and figure out if I've stained the seat. Thank God it was plastic. Trying to wipe it down with water from the glass that I'm just like, it's such a headache. And then you guys are telling me I still have to do this for 20 years. Anyway, what was the
Hey, but your
question?
manicure is cute.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, let's just talk about that. My
Not a
nails be.
distraction. Okay. So,
If your
but
uterus ain't popping, let your nails be.
Kazani, you're such a
Oh my
nuisance.
gosh.
So I
Oh my
guess
gosh.
then in that sense also you've you've changed in terms of your body has changed. I mean, maybe your cycle has been consistent, but your cramps and stuff like that have changed. Tell me
Yeah,
about
a
your
lot
end
has changed.
products.
Products also have changed. I've gone from pads to cups to tampons to cups to pads to, it depends on the day what I'm using, because I was using a cup and then one day I was using it. I don't know if I hadn't placed it nicely and then it popped out by itself. Listen to me.
Maybe
Wow.
you just need to get a bigger one or do Kegel exercises.
I need to do a bigger one. Listen
Cajoles.
to me. I can send you numbers. My Kegel is on point. My Kegel are not the problem. It's how I put the cup. It's when I was learning.
Okay.
When you're starting how to use the cup. Again, it's
I get
that thing
it.
of when Nyam mentioned.
Okay.
I don't think we talk about things that are period related. So you don't know how to wear the cup or how far up it should go or what I should feel like. Because again, if you're wearing a tampon, before we got these ones that are fancy with the insertion,
Applicators.
those words, that's what I mean. Before you have those ones, you had to know how far up. But like, who tells you how far up your finger? Then now it's like, are you masturbating? Insert church trauma and all of these things, but it's just like, why is my
Whoa
finger
there.
up
Damn.
myself? No, but these are conversations like where babes are just like, how
Yeah.
far up should I put the thing without feeling like I'm
Mm,
quote unquote playing with myself? But you're just trying to not leak. And then you're still having to
yeah.
go to a meeting in the office. And it's just, there's so much you have to think about.
Mm,
But yeah, if I
okay.
could, let's just say I'd opt out. Okay?
I get
How
it.
That's
about
where
you,
I am.
Nyam?
I think for me, I remember like my cramps being much worse when I was younger. But I'll be honest, I think being in boarding school kind of gave me perspective as to how different periods look. Yeah. Because remember, by the time now, I had been living only with a dad. So there was nowhere to see a period. I also always say that
What an erasure
I
of
I
my presence.
no, I mean you didn't have a period before Gadoni.
Before, yeah.
I mean I
Leave her
started
alone. Why
before
do you
you. God, this girl, she must insert herself in everything. Goodness.
Hashtag tampon. Continue.
So I first I remember being embarrassed to buy products for myself. And in that sense, I'm really grateful that Vava was like, he's the one who shopped every time. And I just needed to say, I need pads. And sometimes I didn't even have to say, like, just with a monthly shop, he'll just make sure that they're there. So there's always a stash at any point. So I remember like being embarrassed in the beginning and then also being unaware that it can happen in more ways than one. Yeah. Because I think the early education is just that you will have it, but you it's not until I went to boarding school that I was like, oh, some people can have like a 28-day cycle, some people can be bleeding for 12 days, some people can have irregular periods, where it doesn't come for another 6 months. So I think being in a girls boarding school is when I was like, oh, in addition to this thing being a thing, there are many ways in which it happens.
12 days.
Yeah, I used to have a friend who would bleed for 12 days. It's also when I learned that sometimes your cramps can be so bad that you have to go and get shots in hospital. It's also, and my cramps used to be really bad in those teenage years, but it gave me perspective that I was like, someone else had to be on birth control to, I think it was to help with the pain. Like there were just so many other factors that I had never come across until I went to boarding school. So in that sense, I think it opened up my mind a bit more. Um, I was also one of those who I've learned about my period. Now I'll insert Gathani into the story. In terms of product, I think my sisters have been my triggers to try new things. So I think there was one time I didn't have pads and I had never used tampons, and I didn't know Gavin uses tampons. So when I was like, yo, I need some product, and she was like, I have a tampon, and I was like, what? You use them first? Two, so I remember like my first time with tampons, Gadoni was talking me through it through the door. And I remember just being like, how is it that I have become the one to be taught by my younger sister? But and I think the same thing now also, like Shiko was
With
our
cups.
innovator
Shiko
in
is our
terms of
cup
the cup.
innovator.
She's the one who tried
the Mocorino?
first and and
She's
was
our
like,
John the
we have to try
Baptist.
these products. So I think overall my journey has been one of learning. I think I'm also um I think because of having long-term partners, it also made me aware how little guys know about periods, and it really blows my mind. I think that's where a lot of the work has to be done. Like a man starts learning about a period from his wife. Like, how do you not know that there's a
Oh,
cycle? How it's not a
how
monthly
did
thing,
you go
like it's
through
every
life
20
and not
second.
learn?
This is the
But
thing.
they don't
And this
have
is the thing that
to,
I
because their
guess
mothers and
maybe
sisters
that's the
I
thing
hide
that needs
it.
to change.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's like, some guys think that it only happens like on a specific day of the month. So they're thinking monthly in the sense of on 22nd, you know. Yeah, so I think in learning and communicating what my needs
Every
are,
22nd,
what
I'll
is
have an
happening
attitude.
in, yeah, what is happening in my body, that I think has also kind of helped. And then I think also in trying for children, your period ceases to be just about a period. I think in that time is when I learned things about like ovulation, temperature, things like that. There are many other things around your cycle that you don't really learn. But I think, anyway, the long and short of it is I'm always learning. Even recently, I just learned, like fasting and fitness based on your cycle. There's so many facets that I think, in as much as even we are the ones who have had the periods for so long, yeah, like there's still a lot of learning to be done. Yeah. And you, Shiko,
What's the question?
Tell
what's
me what you
your
think about
period
this.
journey
I'm
been like? Like,
anxious.
what's
Um,
your
for me, I think I'm blessed to have a good period. After that trauma of my second time, my period was very like consistent, like 28-day cycle. Um, it is pretty light. I only like have like 1 day of spotting, 1 day of period, one day of spotting. So
God's
it's
favorite.
very
Hi.
like
wow? Must be nice.
yeah. But then also my cramps, I would experience cramps like way more when I was younger, just like Nyam. But they were never like so severe to where like I couldn't do anything. You know what I mean? I only think like I've had like maybe five of those really, really bad months in my life where I was like, cancel work, cancel everything. I can't do this, um so yeah, I think it was very heavy, like when I had an IUD, so when I was on birth control, it was where fam,
Hmm.
let me tell you,
Hey, that
that
IUD
IUD
period. You
life.
see, that's another thing people don't tell you.
I know,
Anyway.
I know. Me and Yam, but we were together in it. We were all in it together, just the two of us.
Yeah, I was like, when you say we were all,
Just the two of us. But then at that point, like, when you've been taught, or like you've been brought up in a society where it's hide, 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 it was so much pressure when now I have to use super tampons. You know what I mean? And for me, like, even me, I started using tampons by like taking them from mom. I would just take them because I grew up swimming, and I would have so many swimming galas or like swim competitions or whatever it is where I was on my period and I had to figure it out. So I remember like one swimming gala when I was like, this was the first one where I was like, okay, I'll just take tampons and figure it out. I put it in like badly, the first tampon
Oh,
experience
oh
where
my
oh
God.
no, I can
you're like
feel
So
it.
so
painful.
uncomfortable, and you're like, oh
Yeah,
my gosh, I
Oh,
just
feeling
have
it
to
the whole
vumilia because
time.
that's the other thing. You're not even taught how to
I have
wear
a
them.
swimming gala. Yeah,
Anyway,
it's wild.
I'm
Anyway,
triggered.
so yeah, that was like, and then I think mom had found out that they were going like her stash was like lessening and lessening,
Mm.
and she was like, oh, you're using tampons, and I was like, yeah, and she was like, why? And I was like, because of swimming, and she was like, oh, okay, you know what I mean. And then that was that, and
Mm.
now she started buying me OBs, or like those tampons, the old school tampons, where
OG,
you just have to push them up.
man.
Mm. By the way, you
Yeah.
guys, you're also spoiled, I should mention, about the applicators. They're not available in this market. So, or if they are very out of reach in terms of price. So, a lot of people are still doing what you're calling old school nini tamponing.
Oh, yeah.
So
You're
no,
right.
it's still
You're
a thing that's
right.
done. And I honestly, applicators only happened for me after I'd visited, like when we were there last year. But you see, the thing is, once you've had the applicator life, you can't go back,
Yeah.
because trying to
Honestly.
figure out, because it makes it so easy. It's just like push a thing, it's in the right spot. Because who told us that there's a right spot for tampons? You're just told make sure it's still the first, I don't know what, of your finger, or whatever it is that science is, if you even get that lesson. But like the fact that we are adult women who have been having it since you were, I don't know how old, having to, it's half of the population of the world having to figure it out. I don't understand how, if it's such a normal thing that everyone has to go through, there's still so much secrecy around it. It's like, how is still trying to figure out so much instead of just like, okay, here is the science, like this is how many people are there, this is what irregular looks like, this is what this is blah blah blah. Okay, this is the
Yeah.
type of things that are there, this
But
is
there's
how
also a
far.
lot of like, just to Nyam's point, I think there's like a lot of privilege when it comes to
100%.
period.
Even on access.
So even exactly. So when we're talking
Mm,
about me being like, oh yeah, I have the applicator ones versus the old school method, which is still very common in some areas, versus some areas not even having any sanitary products, you know? So it's we'll talk about that a little later.
Yeah, actually,
Spoiler.
I think it ties in the conversation that we're about to have in terms of the importance of talking about these things, as well as what you can do to amplify it or make sure that people know more about it. So, on that note,
Wait. I have one more question before we
okay,
get
sure,
into
sure.
that. Um, Before we get into that, what is your preferred um what am I trying to say? What is your preferred method or product for your period right now?
So, at the moment, I think I've found my sweet spot in terms of a blend between pads and tampons. Um, and I'm more particular now about cotton or cotton feel pads. Again, I know, I'm aware that it can be coming from a place of privilege, although there's some good brands available in the market now that are not harsh. And the disadvantage about these things is you don't even know that you're using something that is making it worse for you
It's
until
those chemicals, those
people
blue
talk about
chemicals you
it.
are
So
talking
yeah, so
about.
yeah, but
exactly.
it's
So
until
I
people talk
use,
about it that you realize that's an issue.
Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I use Molped in terms of pads, and I'm happy to say that the brand, even if they're not paying, because I think it was a game changer for me in terms of the quality of the pad. And then I use tampons. A lot of times I just use Kotex, or of late, like maybe when we have the applicator type from Tampax. Yeah, so those are the products I tried using the cup. Honestly, i I wasn't a fan.
It's not your vibe.
Yeah, I think it just has a bit of a steeple. I have some friends who are just like, once you I have a friend who told me I did it wrong, because once you're converted you can
But you
never
are
go
on your
back.
IUD. You are on your IUD when you
I was
did it,
also,
so
yeah,
it
I
was also
also,
worked its
the
purpose.
flow was so heavy. Yeah, so those are the products I use now. But then another thing that people don't tell you, and this is in the early days, and I hope I mean, it might sound gross, but maybe you need to hear gross things so that you understand that periods happen. I remember the first time I had like a clot type in my pad, like when it's like a clot. And I really thought I was dying. Now, in fact, I thought like my kidneys are like also coming out, because nobody tells you. You think it's just blood. It's supposed to just flow in a certain way, until the one day you're like, for sure, I was like, I have organ failure. but but yeah, so some of those things I think also kind of inform what product I'm using. So sometimes on like my heavier days, I might want to use like a pad. I feel like sometimes, I don't know, just depending on how I feel in the cycle or in the flow, I'll decide what product to use. Yeah.
Mhm.
How about you guys?
For me, I would say my product of choice is a cup, but I haven't been on my cup game recently because I'm in the market to get a new one. The only thing about cups is they're kind of an investment, honestly. Like good quality ones are not cheap. So like it's hard to go through that trial and error process. You have to be committed to it. Um I feel like just mine was too old and I hadn't been taking really good care of it. So I just want to get a new one and start afresh. Maybe I should just order from the same company because I had no problems with the one I was using. Um, so now I've been on a pad game, but I really want to go back to the cup game. And I've also like been trying to be more sustainable. So I'm thinking period underwear. I have like one or two pairs and they're so comfortable to sleep in. Not for the daytime, but to sleep in. They're
Do
the
they leak?
best. No,
You don't have
That's my
leakage?
trauma.
no,
I'm like, I don't know if I can't. I don't trust them. That's my thing.
yeah. But it just makes you sleep so much more comfortably.
I
Because
Yes, as
understand.
when
underwear.
you have a pad, maybe I just have that trauma of like you have to sleep a certain way,
Yeah,
sleep in a
because it's
certain
inevitably
position.
going to leak through your butt to the top of
Exactly.
your,
So you
Or it
can
might move
sometimes you
even if
pinch.
it doesn't stick nicely. Oh my god.
I
Or
you have
when
to
you
know.
put
got
a
the
Or
bad
catheter
even
in
a
branch,
your
yeah,
butt.
it would be
tampon,
like the rash.
or even a tampon, and you've even put a panty liner, but then you still like it missed the liner and got on the sheets. Yeah. So that's why I am about the cup life. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Gadani?
Okay.
I'm trying to get back to the cup life. I think my flow got heavier, so the cup size I had was not right anymore. It became too much work. Also, I need to figure out, it's because of the balance of having to switch a cup when you're working.
Oh, you don't have
That's
a
that's why
how
I'm
are your
like my cup
bathrooms set
size.
up at your office?
The sinks are outside, and then you have the thing. So by the time you like drip, whatever it's just it's so much like it's such stress. So I feel like I'd have to upscale. Like my thing is making my cup size bigger so that then it's like either one trip or I can do it at the gym before I work out, something like that. But ATM, I'm on the tampon pad life. Because of my trauma also at that meeting, I can't use a panty liner with my tampons because in my head I'm just like something will happen. So I'm like a pad and tampon at the same time, babe. Because I'm like, you will not miss this thing no matter what happens, because I can never leak again in my life. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's where I'm at right now. Adult trauma.
Yeah. And actually, you mentioned the gym. I think more places need to have pads, like how you have a first aid kit and a what's it called, the thing that puts out a fire extinguisher. At every business it is a must for you to have a first aid kit and a fire extinguisher. I think like a period kit is also one of those things you have to have.
Actually, I wanted to ask you guys a question. What there's this new thing whether someone on social media was like in his house in one of his bathrooms, he has like a kit, let me call it, which has like pads, it has like tampons, it has like wipes, it has like all of that in just like a bathroom in a corner where he just stocks it up because he knows he has female friends. And there was a conversation where people were like, yuck, he's a simp. How can he do that? You can't trust him as a single person. Versus, oh my God, he's so caring. Where would you feel like, where would you fall on that scale? I'm
Us
really
we are caring
curious.
babes.
So
Yeah,
you're
me, I'm
like,
like,
yes,
what a caring man,
I
I
actually.
know. I
know.
wish sometimes I keep telling my coaches, I'm like, for the number of female clients they have, they need to have like pads and tampons in their office so that it
And
talks about
Corona
exposed
has
men.
made an
openly.
appearance.
Yeah, I see
Hi,
corona
Roshi.
in the background. Yeah, so and I think also it's having them in an open space, not hidden away
Mm,
that now the
Yeah.
I have to ask
conversation has
you.
to, yeah, it has to
Yeah.
be like, yeah, but I agree with you. That's a caring
But let
man.
me tell
And
on
more people.
On the thing of having period products everywhere, let's have a conversation about privilege, because let me tell you something. They tried it at my high school. They tried to put like little in each of the girls bathrooms, just having like a little section of like pads, and it was just pads actually. And they're not the biggest ones, the whatever ones. They're
Not
just
the
like,
best
if you're
quality,
at
yeah.
school, they're not the best quality, but if you're at school, you get something, if you had forgotten something, right? Like, I feel like that would have been so helpful, like for me in high school. But you know what they do? They take the pads, they rip them around, they stick them on the bathrooms, they're putting it in the guys' bathroom, so the guys are now like making TikToks and whatever and everything. And we had them for about a month, and they were like, no, we're not doing this anymore.
That is so okay.
So
People
now
should know.
if you want a pad, you have to walk up to the nurse and she'll give you one. So by law, they still have to be able to provide that product, but they're not doing it the way they tried to do it.
Okay, then maybe because people will act a fool, because humans have the NAS version everywhere. Where it's like if it's
Yeah.
Mm.
an office space, because like I'm in a shared working space, if it's in a space like that, do you have a space for women to be able to, in the same way nowadays we have like nursing stations where women can go and like pump their milk or whatever? Is there a space where I can go to someone and be like, hi, do you have these products? Especially if you have a lot of women in the space, I think it's something that should be considered.
Yeah,
So
for
actually, what
sure.
I've worked with one entrepreneur actually who has a system that's a dispenser, because their thing also is heavy on period dignity, in the sense that sometimes a woman wants to be able to pay, so it's not expensive. It's like a coin operated dispenser, so it's like 20 bob, and then you
What is
get
a bob?
your pad. Oh, 20 shillings, my apologies. Yeah, and then you it dispenses for you the pad, but then that way you have
Mm-hmm.
control for yourself. There's no one who you have to discuss it with or that kind of thing.
Yeah,
But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, I think all of us are saying the same thing in terms of reach and availability, and dignity, and that ties into the conversation that we have,
for
with
sure.
our guest. We're super excited about this. We'd love to hear from you guys also, in terms of your experience and how your journey has been. But
Yeah,
let
your
us
first
know.
time.
We're looking. Yeah, tell us about your first time also. All right, let's get to it.
This episode of OK Kiasi will be continued next week with our special guest, Janet Bugwa. See y'all then.